And we start right away with exclusive and very disturbing material. The tragic story of a Ukrainian paratrooper with the call sign Cobra, who wanted to cover and protect his comrades. Just the day before, the name of the Ukrainian warrior who died in hand-to-hand combat with a Russian was revealed. The video of our soldiers' last battle has stirred up social media. In it, Dmitry Maslovsky is trying to overcome the occupier from Yakutia, fighting him until his last breath. What happened off camera? Why did the Ukrainian paratrooper end up alone at the positions? And who is that second person he called for during the fight? TSN special correspondent Yulia Kirienko managed to find answers to all the questions.
This video is from the fighter's helmet camera. It captures his journey to a private and shattered stronghold on the front line. He enters the yard and suddenly a burst of gunfire rings out. It seems our fighter is wounded, and then suddenly the enemy appears and a hand-to-hand fight begins. The camera captures the moment when the occupier pulls out a knife, but our warrior wrests it away and tries to strike the enemy. He breaks free and calls for help. Oh my dog! The fight lasted a minute and comes to an end. Unfortunately, it's not in favor of our fighter.
Yes, I will leave peacefully. Don't touch me, I'm done.
This video of the brutal fight spread across social media. Some viewers were struck by the last words of our fighter, while others asked how it happened that he ended up alone in those ruins. And who is Fas? It seems we found answers from those who know what happened there. Actually, this was Dmitry Maslovsky with the call sign Cobra. He was practically a warrior from the very beginning of the full-scale invasion, serving in the 71st Airborne Assault Brigade. His last fight was in Donetsk in the village of Trudovoye near Kurakovo. Cobra is trying to overcome Yakut from the 39th Guards Brigade of Russia in hand-to-hand combat. His helmet camera captured Dmitry stepping out from cover and firing at the enemy. The footage surfaced online. He steps out fully from cover and fires a handheld anti-tank grenade launcher at the enemy armored vehicle. The battle footage has only just surfaced on social media, and the footage was taken 2 months ago, in November of last year. At that time, the battles in this village were one of the key points in the defense of Kurakovo. So the warriors were tasked with storming the outskirts of the village to strengthen the flanks of the city. But it wasn't Cobra who went on the assault. They say brothers?
The task of Cobra and Kaza. This was an observation post where they covered our rear and monitored the approaches, the movement of equipment, and signaled to us. Our task was to drive up, clear the landing zone, and enter the village.
In the battle, the airborne infantrymen eliminated 6 occupiers, but while the assault group of the airborne was defending the landing zone, enemy infantry was approaching. 2 occupiers were riding on motorcycles and passed right by the post where Cobra was standing with his partner Kaza. They managed to eliminate one enemy, and then Cobra went to look for another one.
There. Cobra told him to hold his position. Cobra gave him the order for Kaz to stop and control the passing area with a specific type of weapon. Because during the time we were clearing the village, a couple of fighters wanted to slip through, and Cobra decided to handle it himself based on his experience. It was an order, hold ground, that needed to be respected. We need to cool down. Cool down.
Cobra was from Odeshchina, and that's where he was buried, in the Lyubashevka community. He was 30 years old. On his social media page, he is seen in army uniform back in 2018. Before the war, he served in the JFO. His comrades say he was a heroic fighter, as he always tried to cover his assault troops. The 71st Jaeger unit submitted Dmitry Maslovsky for a medal last year.
He was hot-tempered, always bold, sometimes a bit too much. We had to rein him in. He was afraid of no one and nothing.
What? Didn't Cobra hear him? Partner. The comrades understand that it was practically impossible.
Haz couldn't do it. Managing his sector and Cobra's position, 600 meters. Where Cobra was during the video that's now online, it's about 600 meters. And also keep in mind that 2 other groups are conducting a sweep at the same time. So there was intense gunfire and grenade explosions. So there's some serious cannon fire.
So how did this fight end? What happened to Cobra's partner? The position where Haz was last seen was empty and the warrior had not made contact. He was supposed to be reported as missing in action. But they found him during another assault in the basements of the village, heavily wounded. As of now, he is still in the hospital in serious condition.
And now it's time to move to the Lyman and northern direction of the front. Russian world. And here it continues to destroy, kill, and maim. In the Lyman direction, the invading army launched 9 attacks on Ukrainian positions near the settlements of Kopanki. Novosergeyevka, Grekovka, Novoplatonovka, Terny, and Zarechnaya. 3 clashes are still ongoing. In the northern direction, the defense forces repelled 3 attacks from the Russian invaders. 1 clash is currently ongoing at the moment. The enemy also attacked our defensive positions near Verkhnokamensky and Ivan Daryevka. Under enemy airstrikes, North was hit. As you have already seen today, the armed forces of Ukraine skillfully and precisely strike military targets on the territory of the Russian Federation. And this is just the beginning. The rocket drone is called Pekla. Another development, a drone missile with the beautiful name Ruta. Well, of course, it's the Polonitsia. In the near future, this Ukrainian weapon will definitely become a nightmare for the Russian army. When exactly will this happen, and what other surprises are in store? Are the armed forces of Ukraine preparing for the Kremlin terrorists?
At the beginning of December 2024, the President of Ukraine, together with the head of the Ministry of Industrial Policy, will present the drone missile Peklo. There isn't too much open information, but the main thing is successful combat applications. The Ukrainian development has already been completed, assures the Supreme Commander, and the fighters at the front have supposedly received dozens of such units. Defeats. From the specifications, it's known that Peklo flies at a distance of 700 kilometers and has the same speed per hour. They have been developing the weapon for a year. They are currently improving the nomenclature of the warhead to expand the range of possible targets. They are still increasing the level of protection of the product against the impact of enemy electronic warfare means. From what has been made public, it's clear that Peklo is about 2 meters long. The wingspan is almost the same. On the upper part of the fuselage, there's a structure that looks like a mount, which could mean that the drone missile is launched not from the ground, but from frontline bombers or fighters.
I'd be happier if I had it. Its 700-kilometer warhead is 50 kilo, like Lyuchi drone. Ukrainian drones and Peklo missiles hit same targets. So that's the weight of the warhead that, for example, the drone Lyuchi carries. The targets that are hit by Ukrainian long-range drones will also be struck by these Peklo-class missiles. But it's more effective. To shoot down a flying object at a speed of 700 kilometers with a machine gun, well, that's even more than just military luck.
Another development is a drone missile with a beautiful name Ruta. Like the previous one, there's practically no information. As of today, the only known weapon with the name Ruta is from Destinius. In terms of specifications, its range is 300 kilometers, which classifies it as a medium-range strategic drone. Such a range allows the drone missile to be used for both deep reconnaissance and high-precision targeting of objectives at a significant distance. At the same time, using it as a target for training also indicates the modularity of the design, which can be adapted to different needs. It is presumed that the Ruta is equipped with a small jet engine and is launched using a special rocket booster. It has wings for flight stability, a warhead for hitting targets, and modern electronics for control. The main advantage is low cost and high efficiency, the developers assure us.
We need to build strategic deterrent forces. Deterrent forces that will create conditions when Russia or the axis of evil, meaning if we talk about Russia, North Korea, Iran or China lurking somewhere in the shadows, can resort to new aggression against Ukraine at any moment. Even if the current stage of the war is frozen.
The drone missile is less known. Developed by Ukrainian engineers and has supposedly already been tested by the military. It is similar to Peklo. It was created to hit important targets at a distance of up to 700 kilometers. It can carry up to 30 kilograms of explosives. It is launched from a ground platform. It has a turbojet engine that provides high speed. It also has a low production cost, allowing it to be launched in large quantities. According to industry specialists, Ukraine has the capability to build hundreds of missiles each year. But to produce modern missiles, we need materials that we don't have. The war and dependence on the import of certain components can slow down this process, so the concept may remain on paper.
In other countries where this can be sourced, the competition for procurement will not only be with our enemy, but also with our partners, who will try to produce as much product as possible right now. Although more than us, not many will do this. Because we have a furnace, we have a testing ground, unfortunately. And that's why a lot of various equipment is burned here, including what is supplied from Western countries. So there will be problems with procurement, which will be serious for scaling up production.
But despite everything, Ukraine continues to prove that it is capable not only of resisting, but also of creating high-tech weapons to defend its sovereignty. We just need to scale up so we don't depend on our partners and their whims. And most importantly, no one will stop us from hitting deep exactly where we need to.
That's all for today, but very soon on the Front News program, new unique materials from our journalists in the hottest spots of the war, gathered so that you know the truth. You were with Vladimir Timoshenko. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.